Here, in the vast digital wilderness of the modern enterprise, we witness one of technology's most remarkable adaptations, the attack surface reduction rule set. But today, we're observing something extraordinary, a rare evolution in its natural habitat. In the depths of Microsoft Intune, a new species has emerged, the ASRGEN tool, a remarkable creation that bridges the gap between on-premises defense mechanisms and cloud-based deployment. Watch as it gracefully transforms complex security policies into streamlined cloud configurations with almost balletic precision. What we're about to witness is truly extraordinary. The seamless integration of ASR rules into their new cloud environment, a process that once took hours of manual configuration, now accomplished in mere minutes. This is ASRGEN, and today we'll explore how this remarkable tool is revolutionizing the way we protect our digital ecosystems. Here, in the vast digital wilderness of the modern...
Hey, happy Halloween Thursday. Still brewing coffee, so I might have to go get my coffee in a second. But yeah, thank you for joining. We still have our sweet intros, but it's Atomic Thursday today. Or I guess it could be Atomic Friday on a Thursday. It doesn't hurt, right? We're going to get started, and then I'll go get coffee. It's just waiting, I think. It's still brewing. It takes minutes. So to kind of kick off this, I wanted to probably step back a second if you're new here as far as ASRGEN and the tool or anything like that. It's a basic thing. It's kind of basic, but basically, let me share that screen. You don't have to look at me. Share screen, window, ASRGEN. So yeah, so basically it started out as a way to review and learn attack surface reduction rules. And so with it, I made a Streamlit app to make it easy for folks to go and generate the actual attack surface reduction rules. And along with it, it ended up being like a really great way to learn kind of like all the ins and outs of attack surface reduction. You can access the site today. It's asrgen.streamlit.app. The Streamlit app is in here as well, right here, attack surface reduction.py. You just spin it up and you can start playing with it. I updated a couple things overnight and or yesterday, and so I updated the README here too with some of the changes and just things that I've added. And today we're here for the addition of adding the Microsoft Intune policy generation piece, which I think is really unique and kind of cool, and a great addition to doing a lot of the local stuff with ASR. Now, with the addition, adding it to be able to actually connect to, what screen are we sharing? Okay. Being able to actually show and connect like to straight to Intune to deploy your policy, which I think is a little bit more, probably a better way for folks to actually deploy ASR rules. So let me go ahead and stop that one. And then let's go ahead and just share out ASRGEN, this window. Here we go. Cool. So yeah, I guess I could have just switched tabs. Anyway, go back over here. So this is the app. This is the site. If you weren't there for the original release of ASR, the video is here. You can click it, and it's just me talking probably for too long about attack surface reduction and whatnot. When was this? I think it was a year ago. It was back in November. So yeah, you can click through all these. I'll do it briefly in case you're new here. A lot of this was meant to, again, allow you to generate like a PowerShell command or just kind of click through and understand just like what these different things are. And so this will generate a PowerShell script that you can just kind of like copy and paste and run on like a single endpoint, or, you know, put it in audit mode or something like that to just kind of play with and see how it'll work for you. And has all the different ones in here. We do have the latest preview ones in here. and everything like that. So if you were to just kind of copy paste this, there's a copy button on the right. You can kick that off on your box, play with it, see how it works. Something you can do as well with the command line and the commandlets is it does allow for exclusions. So I added that in here. I believe when you play with these, it's kind of funny. I haven't messed with this in over a year, about a year. I don't remember the exact stuff that it will attempt to do. I thought it actually pumped out a command for you for the exclusion. Anyway, exclusions are easy though on the command line. There are commandlets for it. That's the basics. There's a whole essentials page here. If you're just getting started with ASR or you want to like understand all the different command line pieces and options, how to list the rules and all that fun stuff, you can run through all of this. There's a lot of data. Yeah, there's registry keys and things like that. So all the deets are in here. I tried to make it easy so that you don't have to go to the Microsoft site and drill through like 6 different docs of words. So I tried to make it kind of to the point, you know, how to use wildcards, environment variables, things like that. So it talks about exclusions and whatnot here too. So hopefully that helps. And then at the top, there's like this cool little mermaid diagram that sometimes shows all the way and then sometimes doesn't. But yeah, there's that. And then because we like to do atomic testing here, I gathered and retrieved a bunch of different tests that you can run to validate these things are actually working. So you can click on the name of the ASR and scroll down. You can copy and paste this into your Office and click and play with things from there, which is really cool. There is also, I forgot about it until this morning, there is a binary that the project generates over here. There's releases. There's an LSAS ASR test, which I don't remember exactly what it does, which is so bad. But you can download it right here too. It pops it right into the here. This is the, oh, there's the source. Basically, it just touches LSAS, opens a handle to it so that you can get an event for it and it works. You can download that. You can download the script or you can download the binary, whichever you prefer. What else? There's a bunch of them in here. Some don't have any, like Adobe. I don't have a way to have Adobe spawn a child proc yet, I guess. Things like that. But you kind of get the gist. They're really cool. You can play with those. Similar, this is the PowerShell. Oh, this is different. Okay. This one's actually really cool. So I found a way to generate a group policy object with PowerShell, and you run it on a box. You probably don't want to run on your domain controller unless you enjoy watching people scramble, or maybe not. Maybe you want to see them scramble, right? So you can hit enable all and say you want to do this in audit and give it a name and then just generate. So this pumps out all the same kind of thing, right? All the GUIDs. It pops them into this piece right here. And when you import this into, if you uncomment that and add like your domain stuff down here, it will append it to your group policy as a new object. And so then you can take the object and actually apply it to an OU or whatever you want it to be. This is really neat. So this is just kind of like one more step getting closer to Intune, right? So first, you can just run it locally with that PowerShell. Second, you can now create a group policy object. And then now, there's one more, then we'll get to Intune. This will actually read a policy file. And so if you have a policy file that you want to parse out or whatnot, I don't have one anymore on my box, but you can import it, pull it up, and it'll just display all the details of that group policy file. So anyway, on to Intune. Actually, I'm gonna go get my coffee. I'll put some tunes on for you. I'll be right back. Did you guys like that night driving? Let's do that. Let me go get coffee. Be right back. Wait, it's not playing. Coffee break. was easy. Sorry, I need a coffee. It is Friday on a Thursday, so we have to get coffee. All right, so Intune. So Intune is Microsoft's cloud deployment. It's like SCCM in the cloud, right? And it's intense as far as customizations and granularity. I don't know a ton about it, so don't come at me too hard. It's kind of new to me still too, but being able to have all that customization and whatnot allows us to create an Intune policy and deploy that out to, I believe it's device groups or groups of devices, and however you want to do it based on like your deployment method through Intune, which is kind of cool. So you could do group policy. Obviously, you could create the policy file, deploy it through SCCM or whatnot. Or if you're using Intune, you can basically just take your client ID, toss in your secret. I'm just going to do it live because that's how we do it, right? There's that. And then get your tenant ID. And all of this information comes from your app that you create in Azure. I think it's Entra now, right? Within there, it does have required permissions that you'll need to grant. So if you create a new app, you would just add these two permissions to it, which is just read write to device management config. I believe these are the only two you need. That's the only two I tested this with, and it works every time. And we'll play with that here. So you have your app, you just toss in those keys, and then you can kind of get down to what you want to deploy. So if you're following along at home, you're playing with it. Again, ASR allows you to put things in audit mode, which just basically logs events. You can put all of them in block mode, which is like blocking all the things, or you can put it in warn or off. Warn kind of just sets it to where the end user on the endpoint will get a notification that something would have been blocked, which is kind of cool when you're testing and you just want to play with it instead of having to like drudge through the event log. If you're using what is it, Sentinel, the like cloud SIM for Microsoft, I added all the advanced, or the Microsoft Defender Advanced Hunting, I think that's what they call it here. I added all the different action types, so you could write your KQL looking for all the different action types. So if you want to like make it very specific, you could like drill down into each individual one here and look at it from there. And this all comes straight from the Microsoft Docs. I just kind of like tagged it all in there. So while you're here, you want to understand or know a little bit more about like the different rules, you can kind of like click through and see what they are and look like. So that does all that. Give it a name. Let's do AOAF on a Thursday, ASR rules or audit. And then down here, you can now just, this basically just generates the XML. It's not like you're generating Intune. So just generates the XML. The biggest changes that you'll notice in here when you're playing with them is on the bottom. I'll zoom in. Hopefully that's large enough. I enhanced it. The audit, if you flip it, it'll say warn or block. So that's like the main difference there. And like all of these, this is just like the settings, definition ID, and kind of tells you where it's going to go, right? Attack surface reduction rules, and it's going to block exploited known vulnerable drivers. It's going to collapse this. And then, so you got your policy, your XML is ready to go. And then now you can just hit deploy. Put a rocket ship there. And because I constantly forget where these config files go in Intune, I actually just dropped the link there, and then it'll take you in, and then it takes you right to device config, which is so hard to find. And then inside here, you'll see your policy, and you can kind of take it from there. There's all of the notes we left for it. And then down at the bottom, if you need to edit these now, obviously you can edit them right here within Intune. Mess with the policy that way, save it, ship it, double saves. And there's that. And then the other thing I added, I wanted to be able to list them. So you could list it and click list. Oh, I didn't find any. That's sad. Try again. Extra sadness. Generate. Let's deploy another one. That's really sad. But anyway, and then down at the bottom, it gives you like a preview of any kind of customizations you made. So before you deploy, you could just triple check, like, did I click that Adobe one, or are we enabling that? What are we doing? And then you can also do your typical manual import with Intune. Same thing, generates your XML, just download it, and then you can import it right into Intune that way as well. And is it here? Nope, that's a different spot. I'm really sad that the listing didn't work. I'll fix it. So that's that. I did have one slide I'll share that shows the customization for the thingamabob, the Azure app OAuth piece. I was doing some other testing, but generically, it's just the device management, manage, read, and write one. Read, write all. So pretty simple. You will need the grant consent. So if you're not an admin or you know the admin, you'll have to request that consent piece there. So that's it. I tried to keep it short. I was going to do a larger demo because I have a box ready too, and we can go into that, but I will leave it at that. Check out asrgen.streamlit.app. If you see any issues, definitely open up a Git issue. And if you're using ASR and you have any feedback on ASR or anything that we should add to it, let me know. I'm really curious how folks are using it and whatnot too. So awesome. Have a great Friday, Thursday. Happy Halloween to those celebrating Halloween. Talk to y'all later. Thanks for joining in for a quick one. Bye. Gotta push the other button.